Good afternoon. The Code Board for the City of Tarpon Springs is now in session. Bobby, would you call the roll, please?
Ms. Wade,
Present.
Mr. Video,
Here.
Mr. Weeks,
Here.
Mrs. Telliar,
Here.
Mrs. Archer. Here. Dr. Matea,
Here.
Mr. Ogle is absent and excused. That completes your roll call, ma'am.
Thank you. Before I forget, if you have a cell phone, will you set it where it's on silent, please? And then we'll stand for invocation and the pledge. Our Heavenly Father, we seek blessings on the tasks before us. Bless our efforts with clear insight, our deliberations with wisdom, our work with clarity and accuracy, and our decisions with impartiality. We pray that our work this afternoon will find favor in your sight. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If you intend to speak at the meeting today, we need to swear you in. So if you're going to present or respond, please stand, and Bobby will swear you in.
Do you swear the testimony you're about to give is whole truth and nothing but?
I do.
Okay. Swear in.
Thank you. Just so everybody understands the procedures, it's the intention of this board to promote, protect, and improve the health, safety, and welfare of the citizens of Tarpon Springs by providing an equitable, effective, and inexpensive method of enforcing various codes within the city of Tarpon Springs. Any aggrieved party may appeal a final administrative order of this board to the circuit court. Such appeal shall be filed within 30 days of the execution of the order to be appealed. Florida Statute 286.0105 requires any party appealing a decision of this board to have a record of the proceedings to support such an appeal. And the procedure is as follows. First, the city will present its witnesses and exhibits, after which the alleged violator is able to ask questions regarding their testimony. Secondly, the alleged violator is allowed to make a presentation and present his or her witnesses and exhibits. Then the city can question the alleged violator's witnesses. After both rounds of testimony, both on the part of the city and the part of the alleged violator, each party is asked to give a closing argument, first by the city and then by the alleged violator. After those steps are taken, the board will close the public hearing of the case to discuss it and take appropriate action. We've all been sworn in. We've turned off our phones. There's one addition to the agenda today, and the board here has received that for Mantex Partners, and we'll hear that at the end. First agenda item is item number 24-800000281, German Borda, 1406 Poinsettia Avenue in Tarpon. Is anyone here for that case? If you'll come down to the microphone so we can hear you. So the city will present.
She is not the respondent. She is a neighbor and wants to speak on the issue.
You're not Mr. Borda, you're here as a witness?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Just stay close by in case we need to call you.
Okay.
Thank you. And so there's no one to object, and the city will present its evidence.
Can I submit this real quick to you? My name is Mike Rolliston. I'm the Code Enforcement Officer for the Tarpon Springs Police Department. This case is a short-term vacation rental that came to our attention via complaint in July. The respondent did quickly take the listing down and complied with us, and we closed that case. Then earlier this month, the listing went back up again via complaint. We were notified. We immediately contacted the respondent. He again took it down, complied right away, but I explained to him that this time I was going to take him to code board, simply to ask the code board to find him in violation, but that he has since complied, so that if this does come back again and he changes it, we can bring him right to the code board. And I have, for evidence up here, the photos or screenshots of the booking page, and that's about all there is really to it. It is a homestead at home. They do live in the home, and we're renting out the bottom portion of it. And currently, as of right now, it is back in compliance, and he was very understanding of the rules, but hence he's done it to us twice, which is why we're asking for the, to be found in violation, but in compliance today.
In your packet board, you saw the listings, and do you have any questions for the city?
I do. Excuse me, Tom Weeks. In past tourist homes, we've had this problem, and it has not been the owner's issue, but it comes back up somehow automatically on a month-to-month basis, unless you do something with the system. As I understand it, I don't have a tourist home. But is this the case again?
The first time, I would believe that. It defaulted back, which I've seen it do, but in this case, when I spoke with Mr. Borda, he said that he had changed it on one of the listings and said he forgot. Is that possible? Yes, but also we received numerous complaints from neighbors about there being renters there. So if it was just an automatic listing change and there were no renters, I'd be more inclined to say, okay, it was a system error and I'm with you.
So
But there were renters
there were
at the
renters.
house.
Thank you.
Asking us to find him in violation, but now in compliance.
Yes, because he did immediately bring the listing down when I contacted him, so he is currently in compliance. We're just looking to try to future-proof the problem.
Would anyone like to make a motion?
Do you want to hear from the,
Oh, did you want to, just to put your 2 cents in to make sure we hear you?
That's okay.
That come speak in the microphone.
Hello, my name's Danielle. I am a neighbor next door at 1408 Poinsettia. And I just wanted to mention a couple of things today. On May 30th of 2022, I sent a message to the family, whoever posted the listing on Airbnb, and said, as your next door neighbor, we are very aware of what is going on now. Please be respectful of all the vehicles, the noise. Your entrance to your vacation home is right next to my window. And then on June 23rd of 2023, the next morning after we had a loud evening over there, I walked over next door and explained to him what happened last night, how I had to ask the guests to be quiet twice, past 12 o'clock at night, and explained to him Airbnbs were not permitted here. Actually, the one on the other side of us was going through this, irrelevant to this, but I explained to him what was going on. He didn't seem that surprised, but he was like, okay, I apologize. We'll lessen the use and see what happens. And so we tried to, make things work with him and get along, and it did not get lessened at all. It's been constantly booked, people in and out, multiple vehicles. And like Mr. Rollins said, he took it down, put it back up for 32 days instead of 42 days. We made him aware. He changed it then to 2-day minimum again, just to see what bookings he could get in. There was indeed guests, multiple different guests in that time. And we've had stuff like the guest threw a donut over in our yard, and my dog came up to me with a whole donut in its mouth. We've had trash thrown in our yard, vehicles parked in front of our home. one day in front of our driveway. So just things like that I just wanted to let you guys hear.
That's very helpful. Thank you. 'cause
Thank you.
We don't always get that side of things. Thank you.
Thank you.
Would you like to make a motion? All right.
I move in case number 1, 24-8000281, to find the respondent German Borda was in violation of the City of Tarpon Springs Code of Ordinances 214.00 for the property located at 1406 Poinciana Avenue and has come into compliance.
I second.
Roll call, please, Bobby.
Real quick, I need the exhibits, please.
Oh,
They're right here, sorry.
Thank you.
Gosh, I saw that.
Got
I
stuck
didn't
along the
know.
way. Excuse us a little word. We have it in paper, but we also now have it on our tablets or our phones, so we're not ignoring you. We're following along the case electronically.
Dr. Matea?
Dr. Mateo, would you like to vote?
Aye. Oh,
Would you like to vote?
say again?
Would you like to vote on the motion that was made?
I just said aye.
Mrs. Archer?
Yes.
Affirmative.
Mrs. Telliar?
Yes.
Weeks?
Yes.
Mr. Fadio?
Aye.
Ms. Wade?
Yes.
Your motion carries.
And he's going to summarize this for you, but just so that you know, once they've been noticed, then if it happens again, money is involved. So we're trying to put some meat into it, giving them one more chance, and hopefully your life will be more peaceful. Sorry.
The code board found a violation, but it had been corrected prior. What this means, as the chair said, is that if there is a repeat violation, it can be fined up to $500 per day for each day that the violation exists, without having a hearing to establish going forward, meaning if they're determined and found in violation of prior days, that could be $500 per day. So this is the reason why they were brought before. This is the strongest position the code board can take.
Thank you for coming. Case 2 is 23-8-000268, Lime Street Properties, Inc., 715 Lime Street in Tarpon. Is anyone here for that case? Thank you. And please identify yourselves and tell us your relationship to this ownership group.
Hi, my name is Stephanie Castellon, and I'm the manager of the property.
Yes, my name is Gabriela Montes. I'm the regional manager.
The what?
Regional manager.
Original manager.
Regional manager, thank you. And do you have any objection to the city providing the evidence?
No, go ahead.
My name is Mike Rolliston. I am the Code Enforcement Officer for the Tarpon Springs Police Department, and this property is a large apartment complex located at 715 Lime Street. So there's a bit of history with this case that starts back in December of 2023. There was a staircase that was being constructed, and the building department and fire marshal made contact with the gentleman building it and asked them to get a permit for the structure. That never occurred, and then myself, Deputy Building Official Keith Mead, and Fire Marshal Kevin Woodridge did a walkthrough of the property, the entire property, and found several several deficiencies to some of the stairwells, landings, railings, things of that nature. And a code case was opened and we issued a courtesy letter in which I spoke with, I believe his name is Cecil.
Cecil, the
Cecil.
contractor.
Who is not local, but was the one kind of representing the ownership group. And I discussed with him what he was going to need to take care of as far as getting permits versus cosmetic work. And he said, okay, in the meantime, we're going to try to do some of the cosmetic stuff and work on getting permits. No real progress occurred. And then when a notice of violation was issued in April, and then some permit applications came through, but they never really moved forward. There was just kind of some cursory back and forth, not a whole lot happened. We re-inspected the property again on August 7th, walked through the entire place again and found that there had been a multitude of repairs done without a permit. Some of the stairwells had new footers put in, stringers replaced, which you require a permit. Other areas, they had just been repainted, and the photos that were in the packet and that I'm going to run through don't really do some of it justice because of the paint and whatnot, but myself, the fire marshal, and deputy building official can all testify to numerous spots of rotted wood, improper construction, things that were just not done properly or total neglect, where some of these railings, you can push them out, stairwells were pulling away from the building. I wouldn't want to go running up those stairs in a hurry if I had to. Currently, in the last 30 days, they have finally submitted and been issued 12 permits. They are actively working right now on 3 of those stairwells, constructing new ones. So they have the permits in place. The scope of work, though, is going to be very significant. So when it comes to time frame, you're easily looking at 90 to 120 days would be my guess to get all this work done. So I'm going to go through some of the photos and stuff, but there are a lot, and they are in that packet and also available to you guys through your civic clerk. And if you have any questions in the meantime for myself or the fire marshal or our deputy building official. Yes.
Are the units presently inhabited?
Some of them are, some of them are not. But there are residents living upstairs in many of these buildings, yes.
I deliver food there and I have to go up and down those stairs carrying it. It's scary.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
I don't know if it should be the fire marshal, the building, but since this is it's, I guess, a commercial type activity, is it required to have steel or wood staircases okay for a multifamily residence like this?
No, wood stairs are permitted. It depends on the building type, and these are all type 5B construction, so they're wood frame structures, so they're allowed to have wood stairs.
Okay, thank you.
And all these photographs are of just various stairwells on the building where some repairs were done or they were painted over. Like I said, it's hard for the pictures to do some of it justice unless you're physically there looking at it or trying to walk on it. This one, you can see the landing is sloped and is literally pulling away. Some of these stairwells could be physically rocked from the building or the landing.
And we didn't address the broken windows or anything.
Now, right now, we're dealing strictly with the stairwells and the landings, which are our immediate concern.
the units inhabited, accessible by these questionable stairwells?
It's the only way in and out for these residents.
So this, well, okay.
And in most of these, you can see there is newer paint on some of them, so a lot of the wood rot you can't see. And then this is an example of where you can see up at the top, they did replace some things with wood, which that's not cosmetic. They were actually trying to make structural repairs to the stairs. And I discussed some of this with Cecil, and he was like, well, I thought we could make cosmetic. And it's like, well, you're going from cosmetic into actual repairs. And since then, they have gone and applied and been granted their permits to actually do the work properly.
These are subsidized under a government program?
They are not a Section 8 housing block, but I've been told by residents that there is somewhere, I guess you guys accept Section 8,
We accept vouchers.
the voucher
Yes.
program. This was the original staircase where it was a temporary staircase was in place while a new one was being constructed. And that was what brought the initial attention of the city down, as that was unpermitted, which has sat in that condition, which they now have a permit. So that'll be added to the list of repairs they have to make. And then the rest is our standard documents, courtesy letter, notice of violation, tax records, and all of our affidavits of posting. So, does anybody else have any questions for myself or city staff?
So the first, in December 2020, 21 December 2023, that's the first time you guys basically gave them a courtesy letter and put them on notice, okay? And then some movement, unpermitted movement was performed, and then was it 2 April 2024, that's when they were found in violation.
Well, a notice of violation
Notice
was
violation,
issued,
right,
yep, which
right.
was now saying, okay, here's
Okay.
a detailed list of what needs
Right.
to be worked on. And from that period till now, there was some back and forth with permits, and they never really followed up and kind of
Okay,
drug their feet, for lack of a better word.
okay, no, that's fine, thank you.
Do you folks have any questions for the city?
No. Well, I don't have a question.
Would you like to present your side of the case, please?
Yes, well, what I have is the same thing that he already said, that we have that they have the permit already. And then I totally understand, I apologize for all the issues that take longer to get the permits. And the Royal Palm, the Cecil, which is Cecil, the contractor, he couldn't able to make it today, that he has to supposed to be over here, not me, not us. But he has COVID and he is on bed, and that's why we are over here. And I wish that I can give you better answers. The guys are working on property. I really don't know how long it's gonna take, but as soon as we come back over there, I will let them know to complete the job as soon as they can.
He's estimating it will take 90 to 120 days. This is a pretty big project.
It is, and that's what I was thinking also,
And
that
you-
it's not gonna be in 1 week.
So we're requesting that you make sure you get permits and get the proper inspections, and then we will give you the time that you need. And I know we're kind of citing all bad things, but if
I understand.
previous management has had garbage and all kind of things
I
there, and
came
you have
over
done a
here.
good job on
Yes.
keeping that much better.
Yeah, you know
So we
that I
appreciate
came
that.
multiple times over here for the same problem that we used to have it. And thank God right now it's getting slow that people still dropping stuff, but we're trying to clean it up as soon as we can. And also, quick question, all the permits are pulled already or we still have pending? Just to make sure, because I can come back and let them know, you
All
know?
12 were issued or approved and issued, so yeah, it's all
Okay, because I
systems
was
go.
looking online and I was able to see just like 8, and I printed out, but I'm,
So there are 12 buildings and
12
there are
per-
12
and
permits.
12 permits.
Okay,
yes, I just want to make sure that everything is fine now through you guys, and I just gonna make sure that they're gonna complete the job as soon as we can.
Make sure they keep in touch to get their inspections and
Correct.
everything done properly.
I sure will.
We want to work with you.
Thanks so much,
but
and we
need you to
appreciate that.
Give us feedback.
This is
Anybody
the
else have a
first time you've
question?
encountered this property, Mike? Is this the first time you've encountered?
Myself as the code enforcement officer,
Yes,
for this case, yes.
yes. I'm just wondering about the interior of the units. I mean, is that something that's safe?
I haven't been inside of any units. That would be a separate if somebody would have to make a complaint and
They
invite
look
us
like
in.
this on the outside.
Very well could be possible, but I haven't been in one to speculate on it.
It's not in this case, so.
Yeah.
Right.
We were able to see inside one of the units that's, it looked like it had some rain damage or water leakage. We didn't go in there. We only could observe through a window. But there was nobody living in that unit at the time, but there was water damage and the ceiling was collapsed. But I haven't been inside any of the units that are occupied.
Are you thinking this could be done around the beginning of January or a little bit further in?
From what I saw, it was one crew out there working. It's going to be a lot of work for 12 buildings and that many stairs, and
Railings is a lot.
it's a lot of work.
Dr. Bayer.
Go ahead.
This may be outside the purview of what we're talking about here, but if you listed here unsafe conditions, which in my estimation says that it's a danger to human beings,
Right.
why is the city allowing this to continue?
I don't have the authority to vacate a structure, but I've had our building official and fire marshal both out there. Hence why we're trying to get these repairs done. If the level rises to where they feel it absolutely is not workable until the repairs are done, they would then make that decision.
Who makes that decision?
The
fire
building official or the
yeah,
fire marshal.
Building
The fire
official.
marshal is here.
Would you like to talk to the fire marshal?
The liability for the city.
I understand.
Hello, Kevin Woodrich, Tarpon Springs Fire Marshal.
Say again?
Kevin Woodrich, Tarpon Springs Fire Marshal. So when we list violations for these codes, I can list it as an unsafe condition. There are still folks that are living there. These things are not to the point of disrepair where they fall apart when utilizing them, but they are getting near that point of degradation in the material that is there. So we're getting close. These staircases are getting close. It's not something I would say that a threat to immediate life or immediate threat to life, but it is something that does need to be addressed by the owner.
And they've kind of secured some of the worst ones where you're not afraid they're going to fall off when you step on them.
Correct.
I have a question. Okay, so realistically, 90-day, if we look at a 90-day suspense and then readdress, because, you know, I guess for the scope of work, but also you want to keep forward momentum on this thing, and I don't want to say, we'll give you 120 days or 6 months, and then it just kind of falls by the wayside. You know, we got to keep, my personal opinion is we got to keep their feet to the fire, because you're dealing with potential safety issues. And as I think Dr. Mateo mentioned, you know, could the city be culpable for any type of injury if somebody gets hurt because of this? And I understand they probably have their own, the owners of the company or the building probably have their own insurance, but still, we're making the ultimate decision, whether the city's making the ultimate decision. So by making this, and I address this to our council here, to actually say, if we list it as a suspense date of 1 December, which will be 90 days from tomorrow, and then we can readdress.
I think that's appropriate. I think that's a good idea because honestly, if you're not seeing the work being done that you need, then you need to address that immediately.
Right.
If they are progressing along, it might be a specific time period that they say, okay, by January, whatever, we can be in compliance. So I agree with you. I think that's the way to go.
And then obviously you would have to request periodic inspections as the work goes on, because like I said, we've got to worry about the human element here, and we don't want anybody getting hurt.
Okay.
Can I ask Keith a question?
Sure.
Will you be inspecting each building as it's done, or do they have to ask for that? I'm not, if there are 12 permits, each one has to be satisfied and inspected, right?
Correct. We've already been out there, I think, 3 times already for inspections because they're having to pour new footers for the new stairs and everything else. So they are progressing. They are working on it. They are calling in the required inspections. And on stairs, basically it's the footers and then a final inspection. And then we go out there and make sure the handrails are proper, the steps, the rise, the run, everything is to code, that they're safely secured and whatnot. And I would also like to speak to the progress, because we are going to monitor. We're very aware of the situation. We know it's unsafe. Even if they don't call in inspections, we go through there and see where they're at. Because displacing residents is not something we want to do.
Exactly.
It hasn't gotten to that point yet, and they are making progress. If it gets to the point where they're not making progress, and we do think they're just gonna let it go, that's the last resort for us. Because, life safety, that's our job. So we want to make sure that the people that live in those apartments are safe. And if they're making progress and making the means of egress safe, then we'll be okay with that.
And I do think they started on some of the worst ones. So
They
that's-
did, yes.
Anybody else have a question? Would anybody like to make a?
I'll make the motion. I move in case number 2, 23-8000268, to find the respondent Lime Street Properties Incorporated in violation of the City of Tarpon Springs Code of Ordinances, Section 212.00 and 116.1 and 105.1 of the Florida Building Code for the property located at 715 Lime Street, and to assess a fine of $250 per day beginning on 1 December. However, this is contingent upon forward movement with regards to the work being performed in an expedient manner. And to order the respondent to contact the Code Enforcement Division to arrange for reinspection of the property to verify compliance with the board's order.
Can we just add, and this matter will be brought before you at your, what do we say, December meeting
Yes.
for an update?
Second.
That was a long one. Did you get it, Bobby? And you seconded?
It was second.
Then we'll get a roll call.
Dr. Mateo?
Aye.
Mrs. Archer? Kellyard?
Yes.
Mr. Weeks?
Yes.
Mr. Perfidio?
Aye.
Ms. Wade?
Yes. Thank you for coming. He's going to give a little summation of what's been determined here, so you understand.
So really what's important here is that the board said, yes, there's a violation. You have until, at this point, December 1st, to at least keep working and getting everything done that the city is happy that you're moving forward. This board will revisit it at their December meeting to determine if you are still working with the city and the city's okay with that, then we'll look at a specific time period for you to finish compliance. If you're not, for some reason, then the board will discuss entering in the fine effective December 1st.
Okay,
So just work with the city, please. It's very important. We don't want to be in a position where we have to come in and close anything down.
okay,
Thank you.
thanks.
Compliments to the city for following up on all of this. Case 3, 14-8000288, Aristos Holdings, 1888 South Pinellas Avenue. Is there anyone here for that case? Then the city will present. Thank you.
All right, once again, my name is Mike Rollison. I'm the Code Enforcement Officer for the Tarpon Springs Police Department. This is the property located at 1888 South Pinellas. It is a wellness center or a gym. On 6/24, at the request of Pinellas County Department of Health, we met an environmental inspector, Eliza Perkins, out at the property. She had received a complaint about the pool, and it was very green, unsanitary. You were fighting for your life to get around it with the bugs. And the pumping area as well was completely flooded out. So we issued all of our normal paperwork, courtesy letter, notice of violation. The pool was then abated. They took care of it. It was clean, sanitary, kind of a quick win for everybody involved. A month later, the county contacted me again that they had received a new complaint that the pool had gone right back to its unsanitary state. So we issued a notice of violation and a notice of hearing to bring them here before you today. They have since, in the last week, contacted the county, who then contacted me. They had a contractor come out and drain the pool and install a sump pump. They are going to keep it drained because obviously we get rain and we worry about it, getting a couple feet of water and going right back into the same problem. So they've got a pump installed to continue and keep it drained. I guess that is until they can make the costly and necessary repairs to the pump and filtration system, which is why their first attempt to correct it failed. The gentleman, John Belarus, he contacted me yesterday. He represents the Aristos Holdings Group. He wanted to be here, but he's actually out on military orders, so he was unable to be here. But he also kind of reiterated to me their current plan to keep it drained and keep the property locked and secured so that people can't wander out there or get onto it. So right now it's in compliance, it's drained, and the area is secured. So sort of just like we do with our short-term vacation rentals, we're looking to find it in violation so that if this is an ongoing problem, we can address it and not have to start the process all over again.
Yes, sir. You had a question?
Oh, I'm just kind of curious. I wonder if the groundwater's high enough and it's going to pop the pool.
No, they actually used, he had brought that up to me. They got a fairly,
Or take the plug out of the bottom.
they had a pretty
Yeah.
reputable company come out and assess everything. That he was actually worried they weren't moving fast enough because they were doing assessments before they drained because they didn't want to pop the pool out. That's it.
Anybody else have a question?
And that's it.
Then maybe somebody'd like to make a motion? We can consider them in compliance even though the pool is not filled with swimmable water.
No, because it's currently the way it reads is because the pool's empty, it's not a sanitary hazard. So, and if it's secured, if it was unsecured or something, and, then people could get in there, then we'd have a new issue, but they have it all locked up tight, and the water was drained to get rid of the sanitation issue.
Go ahead.
This is a commercial property?
Yes.
Yes, it's a gym or a wellness center.
Yeah, was it family?
Gym,
fitness?
yeah, gymnasium. Used to be called Total Fitness
Total
back in the
Fitness,
day.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
And it's down at like the corner of Klosterman and Pinellas
They
Ave.
used to give kids swimming lessons
Yeah,
there.
exactly. Yeah.
No longer running? It's no longer running?
Yeah.
Oh, shoot. Somebody like to make a,
I move in case number 3 to find the respondent, Aristus Holdings LLC, which is case number 24-800000288, was in violation of the City of Tarpon Springs Code of Ordinances 36.02 and 301.1 and 303.2 of the IPMC for the property located at 1888 South Pinellas Avenue and has come into compliance.
Second.
roll call, Bobby?
Dr. Mattea? Dr. Mattea?
Aye.
Ms. Archer?
Yes.
Ms. Tilliard?
Yes.
Mr. Weeks?
Yes.
Video?
Aye.
Ms. Wade?
Yes. Item 4 on your agenda, case number 19-800000220, Michael Mena, Senior Trustee. This is 420 Hibiscus Street. We have previously found them in violation with significant fines due.
So I'm submitting an affidavit of compliance for the property. This has been a long time coming, that they've been working on it to get it all their issues mitigated. Keith had to run, he had another meeting, so he left, but Keith actually went out and inspected the property before me and verified that all the permits, everything was good. They had met their threshold, and then I went out and confirmed it as well. So I'm submitting that affidavit of compliance with fines still owed, and we're in contact with the owner now to begin the fine reduction process if that's the route he wants to go.
So we need an affidavit of compliance with fines.
Yep.
Motion 6, I think.
I move in case number 4, case number 19-800000220, to find the respondent, Michael Mena, Senior Trustee, did correct the violations but did not pay the fine of $180,010, $180,010.00, and to accept the affidavit of compliance.
Second.
Bobby?
Dr. Mattea?
Aye.
Mrs. Archer?
Yes.
Tilliard?
Yes.
Weeks?
Yes.
Mr. Video?
Aye.
Ms. Wade?
Yes.
Motion carries.
And then that case that we added, case 5, it's under new business right before tab 1 in your book. Case 24-00000001, Mantex Partners LLC, 319 Hope Street. And as you can see, we have hearings on this case before, and if you'll,
Yeah, this was last month. You actually found the property in violation, but you decided to table it till this month to come up with a deadline. The gentleman who was here He never reached out to myself. He never reached out to Keith. No contact was made to arrange a walkthrough or to update us. So we're right back where we were. They're in you guys have already found them in violation. We're just looking for a deadline as to whatever you feel is appropriate. And since they haven't reached out, I've got nothing to really add.
Can you remember which property this was? Is there a photo at all? It's blurry to me on which property this was.
This was 319 Hope. This was the house that Keith talked about. They had removed the ceiling to create the vaulted
Oh,
look.
yeah.
We didn't bring or put any of the photos and things because you
I
had
remember
already.
now, he
Yeah.
did come before us.
You had already found it in violation, so we weren't going to
There were a lot
represent the
of
case.
excuses.
But he
yes.
hasn't made any movement whatsoever.
We've heard nothing
Okay,
from
fair
him. They
enough.
haven't arranged
And I
anything.
believe the board made it very clear at
Yeah.
the last meeting what was going to go on at today's meeting, and that he needed to contact the city and work
Yes.
that through so that you could look at it
Right.
today. Well, it's unfortunate he hasn't done that, but now puts you in a position where you have found a violation, you were trying to work on a schedule, and there's nothing before you other than the violation.
And we attached no amounts to correcting it in the past.
Right, so you
No,
can
that
either-
was the whole point, was he wanted to work with us to determine a timeline, which he has
Right.
not done.
And I hope that people that watch this understand that. We try to give people plenty of time to make the corrections. But obviously, this has gone on April, May, June. Here we are in September. We haven't heard anything back. So now the only weapon that we have to wield is the fining. So we are going to do that. If somebody would like to make a motion.
No problem.
You just have to add the date in, when you see $75 per day beginning on.
Correct. Okay, I move in case number 5, which is 24-000001, to find the respondent Mantex Partners Limited, or LLC, in violation of City of Tarpon Springs Code of Ordinances 212.00 and 105.1 of the Florida Building Code for the property located at 319 Hope Street, and to assess a fine of $75 per day beginning on, 13 September until compliance is achieved, and to order respondent to contact the Code of Enforcement Division to arrange for reinspection of the property to verify compliance with the board's order.
Second.
Bobby?
Better add 24 on it. Dr. Mateo?
Aye.
Mrs. Archer? Yes. Ms. Telliar?
Yes.
Mr. Weeks?
Yes.
Mr. Fudio?
Aye.
Ms. Wade?
Aye, yes. There were no minutes to approve?
There are minutes in
There
there.
are minutes attached under number 6.
Okay.
And just to verify with the city attorney, we've given this person ample time to respond with regards to this case.
Yes,
And so-
I think it's disappointing that the individual didn't come, especially after last meeting when the board was willing to see what was possible and work with them. And it's very disappointing that he hasn't contacted the city, because that's really what we needed.
Right. Thank you, sir.
If there is some issue that we're unaware of, obviously, we'll bring it back to you.
And by the number, it was the first case you had of the year.
No, that's actually, was a system error. It wasn't the first of the year. That number, we're still trying to figure out why Navaline spit it out to us that way. But no, that's not accurate.
Okay,
Do you have before you the minutes from April 11th,
yes.
May 9th?
They did come in our packet.
Right.
I just didn't see them here. Apologize for that. I didn't look under the right tab.
You could do it as one motion.
Yes, sir. Does anybody see any corrections that are needed in the minutes? Motion to approve?
I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes as,
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Do you have any messages or information for us?
Yep, I just wanted to pass on two things. We opened 33 cases in August and we closed 28 of them with the compliance. And I wanted to update everybody on the property on Ventnor.
Thank you.
I met with the gentleman out there about 2-3 weeks ago, and they were removing the last of the giant pile of vegetation. That tree has been completely finally removed and is off the property, and they are now in the process of securing permits to begin work on the inside of the house. So they're gonna give it an honest go at restoring the house, but the property is now finally 100% cleared, and they're moving on to the inside of the house.
What about the one off of Carlton? I'm blocking on the name of the street. Quite a collection of materials, including on the roof.
Oh, Castlework?
Castlework,
He's still
thank you.
accruing daily fines.
That's too bad for her. Any board or staff, otherwise staff comments? We have the best board in the whole city. Thank you guys for working together and getting this done every time. Meeting's adjourned.